Thank you guys for joining us today. So if you haven't ever heard us talk about Screencastify before, it's our favorite video product, and we worked with them for a long time, or we worked with their product for a long time before we ever worked with this company. And we were all so excited when Screencastify contacted us and wanted to have an official partnership because we love the product so much. I spent one day, people kept telling me about different screencast products, and I spent one morning one day, and Brooke, I don't even know if I've ever told you this, but I spent a whole morning, like 8 to noon one day, testing out different screencast products because um, people just kept telling me about all these other products that I should try, and try this, try this, try this. And I made a spreadsheet and I actually counted how many clicks there were in between getting the product open to actually having a created video. And Screencastify won by, I think it had 50% fewer clicks in between in that process than the closest competitor. And that's when it certainly won me over, because the fewer clicks there are, the easier it is. And I want to know, what's your story, Brooke? Why did you start using Screencastify?
Well, first, I feel like Screencastify needs to use the marketing from the Tootsie Roll Pop. How
Oh,
many
how
licks
many
does it
licks is
take
it?
to
Yeah.
get to the center? How many clicks does it take to share a Screencastify video? I feel
That's a
like
great
we
one.
just came up with their marketing. Neff,
Yeah.
did you hear that?
Yeah, you're welcome, Neff.
Yeah.
Here we are, totally free.
I feel like that's it. That's the moment right there. I really think with Screencastify, my biggest moment is, and I don't have a problem, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is I feel like one of my weaknesses or fears in ed tech is creating videos. And not because of creating the video, but the moment I feel like we hit the record button, I'm lose every thought process. I feel like I ramble more than I normally do, and I feel like I'm much better live than I am on video. So for me with Screencastify, I loved that how easy it was for me to make a mistake, because I didn't feel like, oh, I have to get this right this first time. I could pause it, I could come back, and then it also just gave me a chance to utilize it so frequently that it helped me become more comfortable with making videos and getting it out there. I send videos to teachers all the time that just need something really quickly. It doesn't have to be polished. It's just something that I can get to them to show them. And I also use Screencastify a lot with my parents. So I've taught my parents how to get to my recordings, and I make it for them in their account and put it in their drive, and it's helped them not have to call me every 10 minutes when they have forgotten how to do something. So, and it helps them because they're frustrated to have to call me multiple times.
Yeah.
So I think it's helped a lot.
Yeah, oh, me too, so much. And I love what you said about not trying to make a perfect video. I try to remember to say that to every group I talk to about screencasting. We're not making a major motion picture here. When we make a mistake in class, when we say, or we forget what we were going to do, or we have to go look at our notes, we don't send all the kids out in the hall and have them all come back in again and start class over because it wasn't perfect. We just keep on going, and that's what we're going to do with Screencast too. And I want to address, John, thanks for asking, why Screencastify over Screencast-O-Matic? So the reason why is fewer clicks. So for most people, this is an easier process. The number of clicks it takes to create something is a sign of how simple the process is or can be. And Screencastify has the fewest clicks of any product that I've tested, and hopefully will convince you guys today that this really is the easiest product. And they're also a super great company of wonderful people who we have really grown to care about personally, and we love their business model. They're really into education. What they give to education is phenomenal. Right now, you're going to get the full version of Screencastify if you're an educator for no money during this time. But even normally, when we're not having a crisis, you're still getting a really fully functional product for free. And that's one thing that we love about it, because we can go to a conference with people who have never heard of it. We can get them using it that same day. And there's a really low barrier to entry. So the question, Katie, was Screencastify over Screencast-O-Matic. And I don't use that product, so I can't really speak to it. But this one I can tell you is an excellent product, and you guys may love the Screencast-O-Matic too. They're probably great, but we're going to be showing you Screencastify today because it is the easiest product to use, and we want this to share you guys to share this with your colleagues who are less techie than you, because technology barriers are a real thing for people who are not comfortable with technology. I'm guessing most of you are probably pretty comfortable with it, but a lot of your colleagues are not. And like Brooke said, she's extremely techie, and screencasting is a big barrier, has been a big barrier for her, because it just wasn't a comfortable mode of communication for
Mm-hmm.
her. And it wasn't for me when I first started doing it either. And I've literally made thousands now, and I feel real comfortable with it now. It's really easy for me now. But when I first started, I remember how hard it was to remember just everything I was trying to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm Amy Mayer. This is Brooke Lowry with me today. Brooke Lowry is a lead learning guide for Fried Technology, and that means that she is in charge of all of the face-to-face professional development. Jessica Powell is on spring break this week. She is a learning guide who's full-time with Fried Technology also. And Alicia Swedberg is working furiously on an online course right now. We're creating a comprehensive online course about teaching online that we're really hoping is going to have everything you need, including a lot of templates that you can use to really speed up the process of teaching online. So we're excited about that. It's called Beyond the Brick and Mortar, and that should be coming out soon, because we are all working on it every second we're not working with you guys online. And Brooke is the bomb. You are right, Priscilla. Yes, true story
Well,
right
thank you.
there. You are, Brooke. All right, so you guys are in the chat. If you have not found the chat yet, keep looking for it, because it's important to ask questions. We're going to constantly be switching over. We are both watching best we can what you guys are asking. You help us remember not to be cursed by our knowledge of these products. The curse of knowledge is when I know something, and so I assume that you know it too. So if you see us skipping over something that you think your colleagues might not know, please feel free to say that, because that's going to make our video better and our teaching better. All right, so be in the chat. And I've got my Q&A open too, and I'll come there in just a second. Karen, I see a
Yeah,
question
I'm
there.
working on that one too.
Okay, great. We have other webinars coming up this week. We really intended to publish our webinar from yesterday immediately, but we can't because the servers at Zoom are overwhelmed right now, so our recording's not available. Today we're recording locally so that we can publish that faster. And then I'm going to be working when this webinar is over to make a video that addresses what we talked about yesterday about Zoom and Hangouts Meet. That will be on our YouTube channel, hopefully by this afternoon, because I know there's a big demand for that right now. I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. We're going to be talking to some friends of ours who work in a school district, not inside Texas actually, but the most prepared school district that we have encountered. And I know you guys are going to want to hear what they say. They're going to talk to us about what they've done from a district perspective, what they have done from a school perspective, and what individual teachers are doing right now. This is a school that had a great plan in place already to teach online using free tools that everybody has access to. So it's really going to be an exciting conversation with some great educators who we just met a couple of weeks ago and already just think are fantastic. And then Friday, we're going to do developing activities for your online classroom. What were you going to say, Brooke?
I just want to make everyone's a little concerned about the Zoom server being overwhelmed. That's just for processing of the videos to post them later. So if you're using Zoom like we are using right now as a live tool, your students are going to see you without any problems. It's just using their cloud recording processing that seems to be taking a little bit longer than normal. I'm sure they're working on their end to up their processing. It's just like all of us, we're all learning new things at this time and trying to get things going. So please don't use it thinking that it's not working. It is working. It's just the processing time is a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah, and we have heard also what John just said, that Google Drive is also having the same delayed video processing issues. I mean, we know the people who work at these companies, and I can tell you for certain there are tons of people at these companies who are working hard to make sure this stuff is as fast as it can be. They're dedicating all the server processing power they can. So we're all in this together. They're not at home resting right now, I guarantee. Everybody is working on this. So we're gonna keep going, knowing that Screencastify is going to make this work as fast as possible, and all the other companies we work with too. So we're going to give you the link to these slides before we finish today. But really, for the most part, what I want to do is work live with you and show you how I really use this tool. So I'm going to actually do a new share, and I'm going to share my entire screen, and then I'm going to be full screening. So Brooke, you're going to let me know when you see my Chrome browser in the full screen here so that everybody can see my controls. Are you seeing that?
Um, I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
I
So
had to look past the flowers
all
in there.
right. I can't see the chat anymore. So you guys let me know if you see me clicking my Screencastify
Yep.
extension right now. Excellent.
Looks great.
Awesome. So we're going to start at the beginning. I know that a lot of you guys who are here today are probably already using Screencastify, but I'm going to start this for our friends who may not have it at all. So I'm using my Chrome browser today. You can use a Chrome browser on a Mac, a PC, or a Chromebook to use Screencastify. Any of those devices will work. And we're going to start out by installing it. So since it's different across different devices, we're just going to do a Google search for Chrome Web Store. Chrome Web Store. That's what I have typed up here in my Omnibox. And Brooke, can you see my zoom when I zoom in on that?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Well, just listen to my words then if you can't read it on the screen. I just typed Chrome space web space store. And now I'm going to get the top result here. It should be chrome.google.com. And I'm going to check out that web address, make sure that's what I see, and then I'm going to click through to that link so that I'm looking at the Chrome Web Store. And inside here, I'm going to search for Screencastify, and it's just like it sounds, Screencastify, all one word. It's this kind of peach pink logo here. And when you do this, if you do not already have it installed, you will see Add to Chrome. All right, here's a weird thing that can happen. If your Chrome browser or your Chromebook is out of date, it is possible you could search the Chrome Web Store and you could not see Screencastify. It's weird, but it happens. If that happens to you, then you want to really the easiest thing to do is restart your computer. That's the easiest thing to do. You want to make sure you're using the latest version of the Chrome browser. When you restart, that should make the Chrome browser update so that you will be able to see the extension and install it. You're going to click Add to Chrome once you see it, and then you're going to look for it to the right of your Omnibox. The Omnibox is this long white box at the top where our web address goes, and out to the right, you should see the Screencastify extension. It could also be inside these three dots in the top right. We call these the hot dogs. So if you have a lot of extensions like I do, it can actually go into that overflow space. So
Amy, you may want
yes.
to zoom your screen in without using the accessibility features. Maybe just do the increase screen.
If I do the Command plus, it's only going to do the internal. How do you know a way for me to do the surround part on the
Um,
computer?
Control Shift plus, I believe.
Okay.
I know that works on the Chromebook.
Nope. On this
Nope.
computer, it's only working on the
On.
center part. Yeah. So
Okay.
I can zoom in there, but I can't zoom in the rest. So you guys will just have to imagine with me that Screencastify logo. And I think there's probably a picture of this in our
Yes, it is.
screenshots also. Yeah, okay, let me go back and find that real
They're
quick.
later,
So
but it's later in the thing. But also, if you guys are having a hard time with the Chrome Web Store, you can also go to screencastify.com, and the install extension is right there on the very front page as well.
great idea, screencastify.com.
.com.
And well, I love how it tells you if you already have it installed when you go
Yep.
there. See how mine says already installed? That's pretty cool. So that'll tell you if you have it or not, and you can get it right there if you don't have it. All right, so that's the first step. After this video is over today, don't do this right now because it's going to interrupt your viewing, but after this is over, what you're going to do then is you're going to go and click your Screencastify extension, which is going to be a little arrow points to the right, and it appears to the right of your Omnibox where I just showed you. And I'm going to click mine right now, and once I get it open, then you'll be able to see my Screencastify extension right up there. Let me clear that notification. And now you'll see that Screencastify extension. So let's start taking a look at the Screencastify extension today and what all you can do with it. So from the extension, we see we have 3 different modes that we can use. The first one is browser tab, and for a long time I didn't really understand what good browser tab was, but I get it now. Here's the usefulness of it. So let's say I wanted to have a presentation on my screen and I want to talk through that presentation, those slides, but I also want to have notes, but I don't want my viewer to see my notes. Maybe they're in a Google Doc in another tab or on a Keep Note or whatever. And I want to be able to switch back over to that other tab that's got my notes on it and then switch back to the presentation, but I only want my viewer to see my presentation. That's what browser tab recording does for you. Now, that's not the mode I would encourage you to focus on when you first get started. When you first get started, I would encourage you to focus either on desktop mode or on webcam only. So let's talk about webcam only first, and then we're actually going to demo making a video with desktop mode. So what webcam only does is it's only going to record what your webcam sees. So for example, what Brooke's webcam sees right now is Brooke. It sees her office behind her. It sees her awesome, really comfortable kind of maroon chair behind her. And that's what it would record. So she can look in the camera and she can talk, and it's going to record what her microphone hears, which is this button right here, and what her webcam sees, which is what you see in her little preview right now. That's all it's going to record. This is a really simple mode because you can just look right at the camera and start to talk. If you feel like my students need to hear from me today, this is a great mode to use to get your face. Brooke, what would you add about that, this particular mode?
For me, the webcam mode, I feel like, has always been the biggest for not only just your person, your face, but being able to use the webcam to show a space or an area. So for my science teachers who maybe are demonstrating labs, hands-on labs from home, or if you have the students wanting to show their space, their work area, the experiment that they're working on, the math manipulatives that they have in their hands, this is going to be the time that you would usually run around with your phone to record things and set it up on a tripod. But you don't have to. You can just move your computer back from selfie mode into full view, and you can record anything that's happening in the area.
Great point. And also, if you have a document camera, you can switch this camera to your document camera so that you're recording what your document camera sees instead of what your webcam that's usually integrated into your screen sees. So my webcam's right up here, but if I have a document camera, I could record, for example, a piece of paper over here if I need to write out a problem. You know, maybe I'm looking at a student's essay, I'm giving them feedback, and it's on paper. I can do that right there with the webcam. All right, easy mode, easy to understand. We're going to focus today on desktop mode because this is the one that we are presuming you're going to be using the most, and it also requires less thought than browser tab, because when I'm doing desktop mode recording, I'm going to be recording everything that I see on my screen, and I'm going to be recording my voice. That's this microphone. And if I choose, I'm going to be recording my webcam. Now, my webcam's already in use today because I'm in a Zoom webinar with you right now. So I'm going to leave mine off. But when you record, remember this chance to create that personal connection with whoever you're talking to, because they're going to be able to see your face down in a little picture-in-picture in the corner if you choose embed webcam. So I think it's a great option, especially for right now, when, like, I'm so excited to see Brooke today because I have not seen anyone not in my family in many, many days. So I love the embed webcam option now more than ever. Now, the options at the bottom, I've got mine displayed right now, and you're going to see probably a couple more. So you're going to see countdown. That gives you a 3, 2, 1, lets you know when you started recording. Show drawing tools. I'll show you those in just a second. And then you're going to see another option, which is system audio. So I'm going to open up a doc right now so that we have something to work with. And this feature that I'm about to demonstrate, just because I need to get some text on the page, doesn't have anything to do with what we're necessarily talking about today, but I'm just going to use voice typing real quick to get some text onto the page. If you work with little children who can't type yet, this is great, or big children like my 18-year-old child who does not know how to type, has never learned how to type, this would be way faster for him to get text onto a page than actually typing, because he doesn't know a proper way to type on a keyboard. You can say things like period, you can say things like new paragraph, and it will follow those directions. You can get all of those voice commands when you start from that little microphone over there. You can click it and it will tell you what the voice commands are. So this is just voice typing. I'm doing this to get some text onto the page so that I can demonstrate Screencastify for you with something in the background, period. All right, I'm going to turn off my microphone now that we're looking at some text, and we're going to practice with the middle option of Screencastify, which is going to work right now. I just know it. All right, it's the desktop mode. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click record, and we're going to go through what this looks like. Now, this confuses people. They get here, they're like, okay, maybe share means record, which it does, and they're going to start trying to click it and nothing's going to happen. And the reason why is because I have to tell it which screen to record. I actually have two screens right now. My other one's just closed because I want to save my processing power. But in order to record this screen, I've got to click it because it doesn't know, do I want my whole screen? Do I want just my application window? And I would encourage you, when you first start screencasting, just record your whole entire screen. And the reason why is because it's the least things to think about. Whatever you see is going to be in the video. If I do my application window and then I go, oh no, I need to go to this other window or do this other thing, or I go into a different Chrome window, it's not going to record that. So entire screen is the easiest way to start. Just full screen it. Brooke, do you agree? Is that how you did it when you first started screencasting?
Yes, I do full screen. When I'm working on my big monitor, I normally have several windows open. So that's when I switch over into the application window and make sure that I'm recording just the window that I want. But I love the desktop for the fact that not all of my pop-ups work. So if I'm showing in an instructional video to right click and I need the right click menu, or if I'm going to go into an extension, I don't have to worry about whether or not my viewers are going to see it, because in desktop mode, every click, every pop-up, every layer is being seen.
Yeah, and that's why right now you're looking at my full screen, because otherwise you wouldn't be seeing all these menus. You would just be seeing whatever was in the one window that I shared with you. Yeah, great point. All right, so I'm going to choose my entire screen, and when I do that, I'm going to see my blue share button come up, and now I'm going to be able to click it. And when I do, this is what's actually going to start my recording. So it's going to hopefully say 3, 2, 1. There we go. 3, 2, 1. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I heard a little audible clicking and then a ding, and now it's recording. All right, so let's take a look at these drawing tools. So down in the right-hand corner, I see my ability to grab a pen. I can change the color of it. I can draw on the screen so that when my student or my audience, whoever that is, watches this video, they'll be able to see that I have drawn on here. I can just draw anything I want to. I'm just drawing with my mouse right now. I can erase if I want. I can go back to my mouse pointer if I want. I also have a click highlighter so that if I want you to see where I'm clicking, for example, this is where I click to get to voice typing. Then if I click with that on, you guys are seeing that red circle, right? Brooke,
Yes.
were you seeing it? Okay, great. So that just makes it a little easier. There's also a focus mouse. So I can show you, I'm clicking on tools, voice typing, and then you would be able to see my mouse down there. So it really makes it a whole lot easier for your viewers to see. So those are the drawing tools. Other things that you can do when you are inside a recording, of course, you can switch tabs. So that's important to remember. You want to remember to talk. You want to remember to have movement. So a lot of times I see people when they're first starting screencasting, they just sit with one thing in front of them. They don't move the whole time. They're just talking and there's one thing on the screen, and they may be talking about other things, but they're not actually moving, highlighting, showing. So it takes a little getting used to, but it's worth it, because your viewer needs to know, where should my eye be drawn to on this screen that I'm looking at right now. All right, what am I forgetting to add, Brooke? What else do you think of while you're actually recording?
Um, I think you hit all of the big points for sure.
Great.
I have a question that I want to talk about real quick out loud about,
Okay.
does this work on the iPad?
Yes, so there are tools that work on the iPad. This particular tool, no. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video while we're talking just so it doesn't get too long. So hopefully it can process and we can see it. So on the iPad, there's a built-in function. You're going to you can do a Google search for iPad screen recording, and it'll show you how to actually turn that function on your iPad. And then it's a built-in thing. So it's not going to work like this. It's not going to automatically save to Google Drive like this is going to. So it's going to be different, but you can get essentially the same result.
Yeah.
There's also a tool called Explain Everything that works on a Chromebook or an iPad that's super cool. You want to check that out if you're using an iPad because it's really neat. This is really when you're going to record on your desktop computer, on a computer that has a keyboard. Let me say that. Any computer with a keyboard, Chromebook, Mac, PC, this is the best recording tool
Yeah.
in my opinion.
But also just know that you as the teacher can create these videos using your PC, your Chromebook, your device that you're using that has the Chrome web browser. But but your students will be able to view the videos that you created on any device with the link. So
Great point.
we've gotten a lot of concern about that students don't have the same device. Your students can view any of the videos that you make with the link that they're going to get, and we're going to showcase that in just a few minutes. We've also had the same question a couple of times about HoverCam, and I used to have a HoverCam in my classroom, and I had recordings with it as well. And I think that it's important for us to know that we now have an option for a lot of different technology tools, and as one being better than the other, that's always going to me. It's always about, what am I working on? And is this the right tool for what I'm trying to get across right now? If your HoverCam videoing is working for you for the tool that you need it for, then why change for what you have going? But there's going to be a time where you need one of these items here, where it's the webcam or it's the desktop share, and maybe that's the time that you're going to switch into Screencastify and use it as well. So Amy, I think I speak for all of us at Fried Technology when I say we use so many tools because we have different tasks. And so whereas Screencastify is one of our favorites, there's times that we use other tools as well because it's a better tool for that job.
Yep, absolutely. It's all about putting tools in your tool belt. So when you need one, you can pull it out and use it. And this is one that I personally use every single day. So I know how valuable it is. But yeah, I use other tools too. And if you have a HoverCam, you have that recording capability, you have a way to put that recording in the cloud, you know how to do that, do it. That may, though, and when you think about your colleagues, that may be too many steps for some people. And this may be a better solution for them to do the same thing you're doing just because of the fewer number of clicks that it takes. All right, so I stopped the video. I didn't really talk about how I was doing that, but there's two different ways to stop it. One is there's a little, I don't know if y'all can see this at the very bottom of my screen, it's kind of behind the gray, but there's a stop sharing button down there. And then you can also always go up to your Screencastify extension when you're recording. It will have a red circle on it, and you can always go up there and stop your recording up there as well. You can also go down to the little thing in the bottom left, the little drawing tools. There's a pause button on your drawing tools, and when you click on that pause button, then you will see a stop button right next door. But here's the thing. The pause button is your best friend when you're recording, because you're going to realize, hey, I wish I would have had this pulled up before I started, or now I need to pull this up next and I didn't do it yet. Well, go down there, click your pause button, get your next thing queued up, go back to your pause button, click it again, and resume your recording. You don't have to start over every time. It's going to save you a ton of time. And I saw somebody yesterday, a friend of mine on Facebook, and she's an early elementary teacher. And she said she just put her first video on YouTube and she had re-recorded it 20 times. And I didn't say to her, I hope she's watching today, I didn't say to her then, but I wanted to say, don't record 20 times. Record one time. We don't start over when we make a mistake. We just keep going. We hit the pause button, we regroup, we keep going. Because I know a lot of you guys, you've got your own kids at home. You have, if you're like me, I don't normally cook. I have to cook now. It takes a lot of time. So you have other things to do. Don't record 20 times. It's okay. It's not a major motion picture. All right, off my soapbox. In the top left-hand corner now, we're going to give this video a name. So right now, it's got this title, Untitled, and it has the date and the time. I'm going to leave the date and the time there, and I'm just going to type over the Untitled. So I'm just going to call this Test Video, just so I'll remember what it is later. It's showing me a preview of the video down here at the bottom. Notice I can trim it if I want. So I can get my cursor at the place where I want the video to start, and I can cut it. So that will cut out any like mess ups I have in the beginning, or I could do the same thing at the end. I could put my end point over here and then cut the video. So if I want to do that, I can, but I'm a big fan of not cutting. Just leave it the way it is. I usually manage not to cuss for at least the few minutes I'm making a video, and so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Other things that you might want to do if you're bored and you have extra time, go up to the editor and you can play around with that. You can put clips from other videos in. This is limited time only for free. Normally you don't get the editor for free, but right now it is for education accounts. And beyond that, Brooke, what do we need to say about this dialogue we're looking at right here as far as this left-hand side? So we're not to sharing yet, but it's pretty simple.
Yep, other than the clipping from the back and the front and the back.
Yeah, so you can
Trimming.
move your cursor, trim, and then get your cursor over here, trim, and that will control, you know, the little beginning and end points when you're kind of getting set up or whatever in your video. You can listen to it here. Mine's muted right now, but you can re-listen to it. I don't like to do that. Who likes to hear their own voice on video? No one ever. So I don't listen to my videos most of the time. I may play a few points in there just to make sure it's got sound all the way through or whatever, but I don't even listen to them back again. All right, important part. Let's talk about sharing the video. So this is going to be the most important thing because now we've got this video. It's already saved to Google Drive. How do we get it to people? Well, this is a pretty new feature to be able to go up here to copy shareable link. And I'm curious, do you guys who are in the chat right now, can you tell me what are some things we can do with that link? So that link's sitting on my clipboard right now. What can I do with it? So I'm going to resume so I can see the chat window and see what you guys are saying. So tell me some things you can do with it. Yes, Karen, they can practice speaking with this because they can do this just like you do. Yes, we can put it on Google Classroom. We can put it on Seesaw. We can send it to parents in an email. Excellent answers. You guys didn't say yes on your website. You didn't say, yes, you did. You said email. Perfect. Text it, yes. You can put it, if you have one of the texting services your students are, you're talking to your students through, you can text it right out through there. You can tweet it, absolutely. Put it on Google Classroom, yes, through any mode that you've got. If you're using Canvas, you put it in Canvas. Exactly. Great answers. Facebook, yes. Schoology, yes. All exactly right. It works.
It works because it's just a link.
It's just a link. Great
yes.
job. Exactly, Bryce.
Thanks, Bryce.
Yes. Now, I want to show you something. I don't want to scare you, but I want to show you this because it's something that we have seen so many times. Sometimes when you put the link into something like a slide, which was something you guys didn't say yet, but you're going to get there if you're thinking about this. So you want to embed a video into a slide. And you can do that with your Screencastify videos. So for example, if I go back over to our video or our slideshow from today, and I go to Insert Video, and instead of looking on YouTube, I choose Google Drive. I'm going to see that video that I just made in Google Drive. Maybe, hopefully. I should. I normally would see that video we just made in Google Drive.
Yeah.
There it is. It's not finished processing yet, but there it is.
And we know that it hasn't finished processing yet because we see that little red icon instead of, do you see the videos below have a play button? So that's how we know that that one has not finished doing the processing magic that's happening in the background.
Exactly. And that's what we were talking about earlier when we said that things are taking a long time to process. So normally that video would have been done by now, but it's not because so many people are using these services right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to choose one that's already processed, that's got the play button. And I just went to Google Drive. Let me go back and show you where I clicked. Instead of searching YouTube or putting in a URL, I'm going to go to Google Drive. I'm going to click the video that I want to put into the slide. I'm going to click select, and that's going to put the video into the slide. And then it's kind of like a picture. So I can just size it and move it around, and there's the video. Now, I already had this video playback panel open over there. If you want to open that, you can click your video. Notice it's got the blue corners, and go to format options. That's going to let you control things like, is it going to autoplay? Is it going to start with the audio muted? At what point in the video will it start? At what point will it end? So you can control all those things if you want to, or not. Let's keep it simple. You don't have to do that. But this video is now in a slide, so your students can click and play this video right from here. However, this is what we see quite a bit. Somebody's put a video into a slide and then their students can't see it. So not to scare you, but this happens. So let's look at what to do about it. So I'm going to go over to Google Drive and I'm going to show you how to set your folder permissions so that anybody's going to be able to see your videos no matter where you put them. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use my down arrow by my drive, and I'm going to show you my Screencastify folder. My folder already has a little man in it. That means that it's already shared. So I'm going to do this with the folder up above, but you pretend I'm doing it with the Screencastify folder because that's the folder I want you to do this with.
Hey, Amy, can we pause for
Yes,
just a second?
of course.
You will not see a Screencastify folder until you've created your very first video. So make sure that
Yes.
if you're looking for yours right now and you're like, I don't have one, I must have to make one, and then the videos are going to go in there. No, don't make a Screencastify video. After you've recorded your very first video, it's going to automatically create this Screencastify folder for you in your Google Drive.
Exactly. Now, weird thing. Once in a while, I find somebody who they're recording videos and they look in here underneath my drive and they don't have a Screencastify folder. And the reason why is because they've moved it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, what you do is go to Recent down here. You find the video that you just made. You click on the video. So here's my video I just made. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to look at the path of that video. So I can right click and I can do show file location. When I do that, that's going to show me where that video is saved. And I guarantee you, if you've made a Screencastify video and you don't see that folder, it's because your folder is moved inside another folder. So that's going to show you where it is. See how mine's right inside my drive and Screencastify. If yours has another word in between here, it's because that folder, Screencastify, has been moved into another folder. No big deal. You can leave it alone. We're still going to control the settings on it. So same thing. You're going to click it up here and you're going to go to share, and I'm going to show you over here on the left-hand side on a folder of mine that is not already shared. So these are the steps we want to follow. We're going to right-click it. We're going to go to share. We're going to go to advanced. Remember, this is a video, so when you go back to it later, you can pause while you do these steps. Where it says private, you're going to change. You're going to change it to on. Anyone with the link can view only. Anyone with the link can view only. Now, you might be tempted to do on anyone at your school district with the link. That's fine too. Gives it a little more protection, but remember, parents would not be able to see it then. So if you want anyone in the world to be able to see it, on anyone with the link can view only, and you click save. When you click save, I'm going to click cancel because I don't really want to share that folder. But when you click save and go back in a couple of seconds, your Screencastify folder will have the little man symbol. Let me zoom so you can see it. We'll have the little man symbol inside of it like mine does right there. All right. Brooke, does anybody have any questions
We have a
about that?
ton of questions, so
All right,
let's answer a few of these real
let's
quick.
do.
First of all, yes, we have been talking about that. Right now it is taking a while to process the videos in Google Drive. So make a video, be patient with it. We know that Google is working on that as well, trying to increase all the speeds as much as they can. Another thing that we need to talk about is, Vanessa asked, are there issues with copyright legalities if we are reading aloud to students and sharing the link only with our class?
No, I do not believe there are any copyright issues with that.
Mhm.
That's no different from reading that book to your class face to face. And anybody who tried to even come after a teacher for that would be like the media would be all over them, and they would be the devil to everyone. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. I probably wouldn't do that. I probably wouldn't put it on YouTube and make it public
Right.
because of that. But to read to your class, put this in your Google Classroom, I would not be worried about that in the least. I'm not a copyright expert, but I do think that that would fall under fair use for sure.
Right.
Any other questions,
Um,
Brooke?
when I save my videos and replay them, I cannot rewind or fast forward. Will this be the same with Screencastify?
I'm not sure why you wouldn't be able to do that. What are you normally using to record, would be my
Yeah,
question.
right. Yeah, I've never had a problem with rewinding or fast forwarding on my Screencastify videos. I play them, I rewind them, I fast
Yeah,
forward them. I use all the controls and have never had a problem.
yeah.
Does the video have to finish processing before I can share it with parents?
Yeah, you want to have it finish processing. And the reason why is because if you don't, they'll be frustrated. So let's take a look at what this video looks like, the one that I just made. This is what they're going to see if you share this with them. So you want to wait for it to finish processing because they're going to see this. They're going to try to download it. It's not going to work. It's going to be a frustration. Once it finishes processing, you see the play button, then you're going to be able to share it. And okay, do we need the publisher's permission to read that children's book to your class only? Well, I guess I would ask you, do you get the publisher's permission to read that book to your class when you're face to face? And I think
Right.
you don't. So, and I agree with the librarian, Jennifer Powers. Make sure the video is posted to your private Google Classroom. That's what's going to avoid copyright violations. Maybe not to the school at large, although I got to say, I know the principal in Beaumont, Texas, who does a bedtime story for her students very frequently on Facebook Live. Tens of thousands of people watch her bedtime stories. And I talked to her myself. She's done this many, many times, and she has not ever experienced an issue with publishers. So I would say there is some precedent for doing
Mhm.
this without publisher permission and even making it public, but super safe to put it to your closed classroom. Great idea. All right. I'm looking at Meredith's comment. In our district, we cannot share from Google Drive. The highest permissions we have is anyone in the district can edit. If you want parents to see it, you would have to record it in your personal Google account to be able to share it to parents. What a great point, Meredith. So if you are in a situation where your district maybe hasn't caught up with the times yet and changing permissions to make this as easy as possible for you, what you want to do is make sure you're logged into your personal Gmail account and you will not have any restrictions there. Then you can make that video totally public, share it with anyone you want to. Yeah, super great point.
Hey, Amy, we have a good question in our questions from Cheryl. She says, how
Okay.
will we know if students can see the video from their end? So just besides just checking our sharing permissions, maybe we could show an incognito window for checking as well.
Yeah, great idea. All right, so let's take a look at that and let's see what a student will see on their side, how this will look for a student. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy the shareable link from our video that's, you know what, no, we got to go to use one that's already processed. So let me go back. Let me show you this feature in Screencastify. I love it. So when you open up Screencastify, this little button, the square with the triangle inside of it, is going to show you all of your recordings in a place where you see a little preview. It's super nice. And when we see all of these, I'm going to find one that is already processed so that we can check it for ourselves and make sure our students will be able to see it. This is how we check. So I'm going to go to this emojis video, which I was just playing around with, which I know is working. I'm going to copy the shareable link. There we go. And now I'm going to go to an incognito window. You may not see this in your district account, but remember, you can always add your Google account, your Gmail account to your computer, and then you'll be able to see this. So I'm going to go to Hot Dogs, New Incognito Window, and now I'm simulating somebody outside my domain who is not logged in. So now when I right-click in the Omnibox and I choose Paste and Go, that's that URL I copied to my computer's invisible clipboard. Now I can see the video. I can click play so I can test it and make sure that my video is working and will work for my students. Same thing with that slideshow. So if I want to know, are my students able to see this? I can get the link to that slideshow. I can open it up in incognito and make sure my permissions are right. Did that fully answer the question, Brooke?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Another question we've had is about dress attire when you're making a video, if you're going to be on the webcam. And me personally, I think that that's a lot of personal decisions for whoever's making the video. I think that I know us, like I have Fried Technology t-shirt on and we have our daily wear on. I think that I always check my surroundings and my background, make sure that something that I'm going to be publicly posting for students and maybe for their parents to see, I'm going to be aware of maybe what's hanging on my walls or on either side of me, or maybe what's even on my desk, to make sure, just the same as before you post something on any of your social media channels. Another thing to think about, Sharon McMichael, who we truly love here at Fried
Love
Technology,
you, Sharon.
our friend Sharon, she talked about maybe including some dance in her videos for her kids to lighten the mood. I saw that happening with some We Video things yesterday as well. They were having a dance hour. So I think that that's important. I've seen the coach that's being the PE coach that's making videos, the elementary PE coach that I've seen viral right now. He's wearing a different costume every day. I think depending on what your personality is and how you already are connecting with your students is really going to be how you present yourself in these videos.
I'd say wear your Fried Technology shirt.
Yeah,
at
and you
all
can get
times.
those on Amazon.
Yes, they're on Amazon. Just search Fried
You may
Technology
not
on
can get
Amazon.
it right now.
I don't know if it's considered essential. Personally,
I don't know.
think it is. We're going to have to call Jeff and say, Jeff, these t-shirts are must keep selling them.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we I promised in the Q&A to answer the question, how do we get this to Google Classroom? And so let's go ahead and dive into a couple of different ways to do that. First of all, easiest way is to, when you're looking at your video in the preview window with Screencastify, and remember, you can always go back to your extension, and you can always see these video previews again in the same mode by going to this square that says My Recordings when you hover over it. So when I'm there looking at my video that I want to share, I can go to Share to Classroom right through here, and it's going to start walking me through the dialogues. So I love dialogues. All I have to do is read the screen. So here I go, choose my class. So I'm going to do one that does not have anyone in it, so I'm not bugging anyone, and I think this one does not. Choose my action. I can do it as an assignment, a question, an announcement, or a material. So let's go ahead and do it as an assignment. Let's do that. We're going to get lots of options. So I can choose Create Assignment right there. And hopefully, here we go down here. Let me see if you can see this. So here's my Go down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And so now here we are on our assignment page, and we can do everything we normally do with a classroom assignment. We're going to probably leave this at Students Can View File. That would make a lot of sense. We can tell them what we want them to do with the video here. We can set points on it, a due date, a topic if we want. All these options are there because we chose assignment. We could go back and do it as a material, and then, we would just be posting it like, as if we're posting a website or something like that. So here's some directions maybe. I can put my description in there. I can choose my materials topic if I want to. I can choose which students are seeing it. Remember, this class doesn't have anyone in it, but you've probably got kids in your class, so you can choose who sees that video if you want. And then you have all your same options to post now, schedule it later, save it as a draft, or we'll go ahead and discard it. So what questions are you guys left with about posting that to Google Classroom that we can maybe answer? Do we want to look at the other way through using the link also? Tell me what they're saying, Brooke.
It looks like, yes, they would like to see it with the link.
All right, cool. Let's do that too. All right, so I'm going to leave my video here open just in case I need it again. I've done my copy shareable link, so it's on my clipboard, and now I'm going to navigate to Classroom. So you guys probably mostly use your waffle up here to navigate to Classroom, but I saw a district recently that did not have Classroom in their waffle. I don't know why, but they didn't. So you can always go to classroom.google.com in your Omnibox and hit enter. You just want to make sure you're in the right account, which if you're not, you won't see your classes, so that'll be pretty clear pretty soon. I'm going to go back to the same classroom that I was using a minute ago because it doesn't have any students in it, so people won't get email notifications. Now, there's even more ways for us to post it now, because if we want to, we could do this right through the stream, and we could do it as a link. So then I can post my link in there, add the link. I can say, please watch this video, and I can post that right to my stream. So there's the first way I can do this. My students will be able to click right there, watch the video. I can also go to the classwork page, and here I can create, just like I normally do, all those different options that I had through the Screencastify dialog I have here. So let's do it this time. Let's do it as an assignment, because here's what we might want to do. We might want to add something from Google Drive. For example, I'll go ahead and add this document that I worked on a minute ago. So we might want to have a document. Maybe it's a template, and we're going to allow students to edit, make a copy for each student. And then I might want to also add the link to the Screencastify. So remember, that's still on my computer's clipboard. I just clicked in the space, held down Control plus pressed V, and I can add that. And then this way I can add all different kinds of stuff. So maybe I also have a file that's on my computer. Maybe it's a PDF that I want students to read, for example, or these are all pictures. I can add all of these things to this one assignment. And now that the assignments automatically open up on an assignment page, they don't get lost. There was a brief time in Google Classroom when it was real easy to not see multiple files, even if they were there. But now it's really easy because it opens up in this full page view. Any other questions about posting that video to Google Classroom that we should?
But while you have that link copied, will you show them how to use it as a hyperlink in maybe a Google Doc?
Yes, awesome idea. All right, so let's say this is our document our students are going to be working on today, and this is, we're going to say, watch the video. So one way we can do this is we can just hold down Control or Command and press V and hit space, and on every other computer in the world besides mine, it will turn into a hyperlink automatically when you do that, but that's kind of ugly. So this is how we like to do it. How we do it is we slide over the text that we want to link. We click our hyperlink button, or you can right click if you're a right clicker. There's link. I like this hyperlink button better. It's easier for most people to click that button up there. Now I can Control or Command V into that space, or I can right click paste, either way, and apply. And now that video is linked to these words. So if someone clicks this link, they're going to see the preview, and they're going to be able to click this hyperlink underneath, and it will open up in a new tab. Do we have any other questions around that, Brooke, that we should answer?
No, I think that looks like it's it right now. I do want to address something that Kathleen asked us. Her school district right now is not able to get into their Google Classroom, and about private Google using Gmail to build a Google Classroom. Yes, you can create Google Classroom in an @Gmail account. Your students will not be able to join with their @Gmail accounts, and we also need to be aware of all of the student laws around that.
They will be able to join with their @gmail.com account. They would not be
Not,
able to
sorry,
join with their
yeah,
district
with their
account.
district account.
If your students are over 13, you would not be violating FERPA, or I think it's COPPA actually
Yeah,
is the law
COPPA.
that could potentially be violated. If they're over 13, you have a lot more leeway legally. If they're under 13, you need to use the resources that your district is providing, because they can't legally sign up for those accounts if they're under 13. These are strange times, and hopefully your district will get that going ASAP. But yeah, Brooke is right. I would be hesitant to do that if any of my students were under 13 years old. But the answer technically is yes. Technically, that will work, setting it up through your Gmail account. Yeah, whoops. All right, what other questions do we have? We have a few minutes left. What else should we answer before we go?
We need to, let's talk about the other options that are at the end of the video.
Other options at the end
Like
of the
how to
video.
download the video over here, download, turn into an
Oh,
animated
yeah.
GIF.
Oh, great idea. All right. Yes, great point, Brooke. So the other options that appear right here underneath download are you can get that video onto your computer. That would come out as a WebM file, I think, and then you would play it with a browser. But when you export it as MP4, that's when it becomes playable as a regular video file. So if we keep having this processing problem, you may want to publish to YouTube. You can still publish to YouTube and make that video private or only share it with a limited audience. I'm guessing YouTube's processing is better right now probably than Google Drive, just because that's what they do. You know, that's like the primary purpose of the tool. So you might consider that. You can also bring out an audio file. So if you wanted to make a podcast, for example, where you're just talking, you can do that. And we love this feature, Export
Yes.
Animated GIF. So Brooke, I want you to talk about that one, because it's not one I use every day, but I know you do.
Yeah, so I love the animated GIF now. I know a lot of times when people think of that, they think of all the silly ones that we see of people dancing around and clips from movies, but I love it for the clicking. So a lot of times I just need to, like, we've had some questions about how to enable the voice typing that you were using in the Google Doc a few minutes ago. So notice how Amy goes into the Google Doc here. I would use my Screencastify to record a GIF here for these simple clicks, because I don't need it to be a long video. So when she hits record, I'm gonna give it just a second for it to start. So she's just gonna quickly showcase the steps. If she had the highlighting mouse tool on, that worked, there you go. So tools, and then she'll click on voice typing. She had it on, so now it's turning it off. Now it's on, she could show how it works.
Now
And
I
then
can talk and it will type.
And when she stops her recording, I have found that anything under 18 seconds is really the best. So now when you have this video, instead of the students having to click play, see it really large, wait for the video to start, as an animated GIF, when I download it as an animated GIF, it's now just an image file that I can put directly on the slide. So when I tell the students to start a voice typing, they're just going to see this GIF over and over and over and over again and know exactly where to click without having to start the whole video.
All right, hopefully we can get this out right now. Oh, there it is. It was already processing down at the bottom. I made it. I used up unnecessary processing at Screencastify. Let me stop that one. Yeah, I love this too. I love it because you can put it into a document. Like Brooke said, it goes into any file type. So over here, it's going to tell us when our GIF is ready to be downloaded, and then we can get it out and we can put it into a document just like a picture. So just in case this doesn't come up in time before we have to stop our broadcast, what we would do then is go to our document, insert image, and I would upload it from the computer. Is that how you do it too, Brooke?
Yes.
So I go over here, I download it.
Yep. It's going to save to my computer.
Yep, and there it is. If you can see the very bottom of my screen, it's down there. And now I'm going to go back to my document, and insert image, upload from computer. And I'm going to look in my downloads folder. There it is. I'm going to open it. If you try to drag them in, sometimes they don't work. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I
But
usually just
there's
upload
the
it.
GIF I just made. And I love this too. You know, only one small part of this matters. So you can actually crop your GIF also. That's just a double click. We'll give you the crop handles. Then you can make it bigger so people can see the part of the video that really matters. So you can see how it's just going to play over and over and over again and show those steps.
Amy, will you show where we did that GIF one more time at the end?
Yeah, absolutely. So on this details page, let me just remind you again, if you go to Screencastify and you hover over this square that says My Recordings, you'll be able to preview any of your recordings. You go to the one, remember like Brooke said, it needs to be a small recording. And then you're going to see this panel over on the right where we got Share to Classroom. We're going to go to this little down button and export animated GIF. If for some reason you don't see that right now, I wonder if your account is not set up as an education account, because educators are the only ones getting the full version of Screencastify for free right now. So go and check your settings.
Yeah, and this is also now available with the without the premium.
Oh, it is. Oh, so
Mm-hmm.
everybody will see
It's
this
part of
regardless.
the change that they just did.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, Amy, will you refresh your slide presentation for me? I added in the code that they're also going to need, and we're going to skip through some slides here. Everything we just talked about, we put some screen grabs on these as well, so you'll be able to see those in the presentation. If you'll go down to slide 16.
Okay.
So if you guys want to learn a little bit more, we're going to share this presentation with you guys in just a minute. We know we've kept you a few minutes over, but you can get in here and you can see Screencastify has a huge resource page that has lots of videos, lots of different ideas. They also have a master screencaster program where you can get a badge. It takes about an hour, and same with the other certification for Get Genius. So also make sure that you check those out if you're already using Screencastify. Those are really awesome tools.
Yes,
And
for
then on the
sure.
next slide,
Whoops, did I go one too
sorry.
far?
Yeah, go back one more.
This one?
Back one more.
Okay.
There we go. So this is the code that you guys have been sharing in the chat as well. This cast COVID is the one that's going to get you all of the free tools through April 30th.
Oh, I didn't know you had to do this. Oh, thanks for
Yes.
telling us.
So
Yes.
this one is the free premium trial through April 30th. Now, guys, it is a little tricky. When you go to upgrade your account, so it's going to say, do you want to upgrade? Click on upgrade, and you're going to panic that you may have to put in the money, but you don't. Just below where the money part is, you'll see the words redeem coupon. It doesn't look like it's clickable, but it is. So click on the words redeem coupon, and then it's going to let you put in that code. This alt fried fan is the one that you can use later, but for this one you're going to put in the cast COVID, and then it's going to give you the free premium trial through April 30th.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then after that, you can use ours, which will give you another 30 days.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So you need these links now. And this is
Yes.
the URL for this Google Slides presentation. It's got all the links in it, screenshots for everything we did today. We'll be putting this video on YouTube as soon as we possibly can, provided that processing, does not take a long time, which I guess it might, but we're going to put it up there as soon as we can. It'll be on YouTube, so you can share it with whoever you want to. And this will remain the URL for the slide deck, fried.tech/screen-instructions. And that's all lowercase. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We definitely exceeded our 100 limit for today.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow and Friday. If you're a teacher, definitely Friday you're going to care about, because we're going to be talking about how to make assignments that are going to keep your students doing hands-on learning. We know how to make a lecture now, but how do we keep it active? How do we keep students actually doing something? And I have a feeling Brooke is going to be showing you some of her amazing Google Drawing assignments that she has created, which you are going to want to see, because it's going to just blow your mind what students are going to be able to create online. So thanks so much for tuning in
Thanks,
today.
guys.
Yep. And we'll see you tomorrow and then again on Friday. Bye.